68. Ekudaniya. For a sage who is attentive, vigilant, training himself in the paths of sagehood, venerable, calm, always possessed of mindfulness, griefs do not come into existence. 69. Chana. Hearing the great flavored Dhamma of the Great One, taught by him who is of supreme knowledge and omniscience, I entered on the road for the attainment of the undying. He is well skilled in the path to rest from exertion. So after one hears the Dhamma, one understands, then only one practices. 70. Puṇṇat. Virtue indeed is foremost here, but the wise man is supreme, conquering among men and devas because of his virtue and wisdom. Virtue and wisdom both are important. 71. Vaccha pālat. Quenching is truly not hard to obtain for him who sees the goal, even though it is very fine and subtle, who is skilled in thought, of humble manner, practicing the virtuous conduct cultivated by the Buddha. Although he says it's not hard, but for most people it's really hard. 72. Ātumat. Just as a young bamboo is hard to trample down when its tip has grown, and it has developed hard wood, so I find it hard to go forth because of the wife who has been brought home. Give me permission, now I have gone forth. So you see this man with the wife, newly married also can go forth. 73. Māṇavat. Having seen an old man and a miserable diseased one, a dead one, and having seen a dead one come to the end of his life, then having gone forth, this diseased one must be a very sick person. And then thirdly, having seen a dead one come to the end of his life, then having gone forth, I became a wanderer, abandoning mind-beguiling sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures really delight the mind. That's why it's so hard to give up. But this person, he saw impermanence. So an old man, a very sick man, and a dead man. But not all together, over some time. 74. Suyāma. Desire for sensual pleasures, malevolence, sloth and torpor, conceit and uncertainty or doubt are in no way found in a monk. That means a real monk. He has got rid of all these 5 hindrances. 75. But this getting rid of the 5 hindrances means attaining jhana. 75. Susāradat. Good is the sight of the well-disposed. Doubt is cut off. Discretion increases. They make even a fool into a clever man. Therefore, union with good men is good. This good man refers to the Aryans. Aryans can make a fool into a clever man when they explain the Dhamma. 76. Piyañ jahat. One should settle down when others are flying up. One should fly up when others are settling down. One should remain when others are not remaining. One should not take pleasure when others take pleasure. A person who walks the spiritual path is on the opposite direction from people who are worldly. 77. Hatthā roha puttat. Formerly this mind wandered where it wished, where it liked, as it pleased. Now I shall control it properly, as the hook holder or the mahut controls an elephant in rut. The elephant trainer, even when the elephant is very difficult to control during the mating season, the trainer with the skill can control it. In the same way, it takes a lot of skill to control the mind. 78. Meṇḍa sirat. I have run through the journeying on of numerous rebirths without expiation. I have suffered pain, but now my mass of pain has disappeared. So he has attained liberation. 79. I have eliminated Nāgitat. I have eliminated all desire. All hatred has been rooted out. All my delusion has gone. I have become cold, quenched. This cooled is the state of Nibbana. 80. Uggat. Whatever action was done by me, whether small or great, all that is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. You see, all these arahants, they always say, there's no more renewed existence, no more coming to birth again. 81. Samiti gutta. Whatever evil was done by me previously in other births, that must now be experienced. No other basic cause exists. Karma has to be experienced. 82. Kasapa. Go there, child, wherever there are good alms, pleasant and without fear. Do not be smitten by grief. This one maybe is talking to a small boy. 83. Siha. Siha. Remain vigilant, not relaxing day or night. Develop good characteristics. Quickly give up the body. This Siha is a monk who is struggling, so he's reminding himself not to relax, remain vigilant. This is one of the factors of charana, monk's practice. Jagarya no yoga, devotion to wakefulness, trying to remain awake even at night. 84. Nītat. Sleeping all night, delighting in company by day. When indeed will the fool put an end to pain? So to the arahants, ordinary worldling who sleeps all night and loves to associate with company during the daytime is a fool that will never end samsara. 85. Sunaga. One who is well skilled in grasping mental images, knowing the sweetness of solitude, meditating, zealous, mindful, should attain to spiritual happiness. 86. Nāgitat. Outside this teaching, the road of the many who profess another doctrine does not lead to quenching as this one does. So indeed, the blessed teacher instructs the Sangha himself, truly showing the palms of his hands. Showing the palms of his hands, that means open up his hands, reveals everything. The Buddha always says that he doesn't hide anything. He has revealed everything to his disciples. In the Digha Nikaya Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the Buddha says he does not have the clenched fist of a teacher. Clenched fist of a teacher means holding back something, just like those Kung Fu masters in China. They teach you 90%, they hold back 10%. So the Buddha says he does not hold back anything. Open up his hands totally. 87. Paviṭ. The elements of existence are seen as they are. All existences are torn asunder. Journeying on from rebirth to rebirth is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. Another one says, no more coming back. 88. Ajjunat. Truly I was able to draw myself from the water to dry land. As if being borne along on a great flood, I comprehended the truths. So he went from the flood to dry land. That refers to the Arahant standing on safe dry land. 89. Deva Sabha. The muds and the mires are crossed. The chasms are avoided. I am released from flood and tide. All conceits are exterminated. This conceit is the ego, the self. It's eliminated, so it's attained liberation. 90. Samidatta. The 5 elements of existence, being known, stand with root cut off. Journeying on from rebirth to rebirth is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. These 5 elements should be the 5 aggregates of existence. So they stand, but the root is cut off already. They will not grow again. These 5 body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, which is basically body and mind. So the body and mind, the root has been cut off already. It will not grow again. 91. Paripunaka. Pure food with 100 flavors is not so well thought of as is that which I enjoy today. The Dhamma taught by Gautama the Buddha, whose vision is unlimited. So a person who appreciates the Dhamma, when he listens to the Dhamma, he's so happy. The flavor of the Dhamma is much better than pure food with 100 flavors. 92. Vijaya. He whose asavas are completely annihilated and who is not interested in food, whose field of action is empty and signless release, his track is hard to find, like that of birds in the air. An arahant has no more self, so you cannot trace him when he goes off into nibbana. No trace of him at all. 93. Erakha. Painful are sensual pleasures, erakha. Not happy are sensual pleasures, erakha. He who loves sensual pleasures loves pain, erakha. He who does not love sensual pleasures does not love pain, erakha. So this erakha, he must be practicing, he must be tormented by all the sensual thoughts disturbing him. So he's reminding himself, all these are source of suffering. Don't let go, don't cling to it, don't think of it. 94. Mataji. Homage to the blessed, glorious member of the Sakyan clan. He taught well this foremost Dhamma when he had attained to the foremost state. 95. Chakupala. I am blind, with eyes destroyed. I have entered this wilderness road. Even though I am prostrate, I shall go on, but not with an evil companion. So this monk, there's a story, I think in the Dhammapada commentary. This monk, he practiced very hard without sleeping. And when we sleep, we relax, and in the sleeping position, our eyes, the tears can flow and clean our eyes. But if a monk stays up, in the upright position, he does not rest, the tears don't flow to clean the eyes. And in the case of this monk, after a long time, I became blind. But even then, he said he will still push on, but he will not he will not want a companion who is not like him. 96. Kanda Sumana. Having left one flower as an offering, having amused myself in different heavens for 80 crores of years, because of the remainder I am quenched. So he was in the heavens for a very, very long time, but now he's out of samsara. 97. Tissa. Giving up a costly bronze bowl and a valuable golden one, I took an earthenware bowl. This is my second consecration or ordination. So this man must have probably come from a very rich family. This second consecration could be he attained arahanthood. The first one, the first consecration or blessing is when he ordained. The second one probably when he attained enlightenment. 98. Abhaya. The mindfulness of one who thinks upon a pleasant object becomes confused when he sees its form. With impassioned mind he experiences it and stays clinging to it. His asavas which lead to the root of existence increase. So if a person is not mindful, I think of pleasant things, then the asavas, the uncontrolled mental outflows increase, and then he cannot get out of samsara. 99. Uttiya. The mindfulness of one who thinks upon a pleasant object becomes confused when he hears its sound. With impassioned mind he experiences it and stays clinging to it. His asavas which lead to journeying on increase. So this one, the first one was talking about seeing a form, attached to forms. The second one is attached to sounds. 100. Deva Sabha. Possessed of proper exertion, having the application of mindfulness as his field of action, covered with the flowers of release, he will be quenched without asavas. Need a lot of exertion to attain, a lot of exertion and a lot of mindfulness to attain liberation. 101. Bilatta Kani. Giving up the householder state, having no firm convictions in his mind, like a great hawk fed on grain, using its snout as a plough, gluttonous, inactive, the fool comes to the womb again and again. So he is saying if a person becomes a monk, but has no strong determination and is greedy for good food and lazy and all that, he'll take rebirth again and again. 102. Satucha. Deceived by conceit, being defiled by the constituent elements, agitated by their various gains, they do not attain concentration. Person cannot give up the self, the ego, and defiled by the five aggregates. They cannot attain one-pointedness of mind. 103. Bandura. I have no need of this. I am gladdened and delighted by the flavor of the Dhamma, having drunk the best, the topmost flavor, but I shall not make acquaintance with poison. So the flavor of the Dhamma surpasses all other flavors. 104. Kittaka. Truly my body is light, touched by much joy and happiness. My body floats, as it were, like cotton blown by the wind. There's one sutta where the Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha, is it true, Bhagava, that this flesh body can fly up to heaven? And the Buddha said, yes. The Buddha said, when a monk meditates, attains deep concentration, the mind becomes very strong and the body becomes very light. Then when he determines that he will fly, he will just lift up. The whole body will lift off the ground. And then he can fly as high as the Brahma heavens. 105. Malita Vamba. If one is dissatisfied, one should not remain. If one is enjoying oneself, one should depart. Truly, a discerning man would not inhabit a dwelling which was not connected with the goal. So if a monk stays in a place and it's not a suitable place, he's dissatisfied. And then, or if the place there's too much things to enjoy, then he should leave the place. 106. Suhemanta. When the goal has 100 marks and bears 100 signs, the person who sees but one part is a fool, but he who sees 100 is clever. So a person, he must be very discerning, very sharp, and see how to practice the way. 107. Dhammasava. After reflection, I went forth from the home to the homeless state. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. There are many arahants, we see from the suttas, many arahants who were formerly married, had a family, had children and all that, and then they left, and still they can attain arahanthood. This one is classic, Dhammasava's father, 108. At the age of 120, I went forth to the homeless state. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. So this man, even at the age of 120, he renounced and can still attain arahanthood. So those of you here who are married, you still have a chance. 109. Sangha Rakita. Having gone to a secret place, he does not yet take account of the teaching of the one who has compassion for the highest good. For he lives with uncontrolled faculties like a tender deer in the forest. 110. Usaba. The trees on the mountain tops have shot up, well watered by the fresh rain cloud on high. More and more it produces excellence for Usaba, who desires solitude and possesses forest sentiment. This is another of the monks who were very happy had dwelling in the forest. 111. Jenta. Truly it is hard to go forth. Homes are hard to live in. The Dhamma is profound. Wealth is hard to obtain. Sustenance of life is difficult for us with whatever comes our way. It is fitting to think continuously of impermanence. 112. Vaccha Gotha. I possess the triple knowledge. I am a great meditator, skilled in the calming of the mind. I have obtained the true goal. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 113. Vanna Vaccha. With clear water and wide cracks, haunted by monkeys and deer, covered with oozing moss, those rocks delight me. 114. Adimutta. Whence will perfection as an ascetic come for one who is heavy with grossness of body and greedy for bodily happiness while life is fading away? So if an ascetic is too fat, heavy with grossness of body, and greedy for bodily happiness, greedy for bodily pleasures, then he will never come to perfection. 115. Mahanama. You are found wanting by the mountain with its many shrubs and trees, the famous Mount Nesadaka with its covering. 116. Parapariya. Giving up the 6 organs of contact, with sense doors guarded, well restrained, having rejected the root of misery, I have attained the annihilation of the asavas. 117. Yasa. Well anointed, well dressed, adorned with all my ornaments, I attained the 3 knowledges. The Buddha's teaching has been done. This is well anointed, well dressed, adorned with the ornaments. It probably does not refer to the clothes and all that, but his ornaments probably refers to his the 4 satipatthana, the 4 right efforts, the 4 iddhipada, the 5 bala, 5 powers, 7 bojjhanga, etc. 118. Kimbila. Old age falls upon one as though ordered. The shape, although the same, is as though different. I remember my own self as though of another, although I am the same, not having been away. As we age, we look different. 119. Vajjiputta. Having approached a thicket at the foot of a tree, having put quenching in the heart, meditate, Gotama, do not be indolent. What good will all this halabalu do you? This one, I think, when he says Gotama, he means he's a son of Gotama, Sakyaputta. This one, I think, is this monk, he's in the forest and trying hard to meditate. And the village there, there's a celebration in the village, maybe Hari Raya or something. And they are making all the music and all the enticing sounds disturbing him. So he's reminding himself not to be pulled away by all the nice music, but to meditate hard. It's very distracting, if you are trying to meditate in the cave or in the forest and all these sounds in the distance, reminding you of your days when you were also jolly. 120. Isiddhata. The 5 elements of existence, being known, stand with root cut off, have obtained the annihilation of pain, have attained the annihilation of the asavas. These 5 elements of existence refers to the 5 aggregates, body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. They still stand, but the root has been cut off. Shall we stop here? We can, for the sutta, then we can have a discussion. But Ananda, because he listened to the Dhamma, he was already a Sotapanna. So you see some monks, because they have a lot of duties to do, so they delay their attainment of arahanthood. In the case of Ananda, it was difficult for him to practice because he was serving the Buddha for so long, always ready to serve the Buddha. So the Buddha appreciated him very much. So when the Buddha was about to pass away, he went one side and wept. And the Buddha called him, and then in front of all the Sangha, the Buddha praised him. But still, because of his good merit, after the Buddha passed away, he practiced, in a short time he became an arahant. So this meritorious, this good deeds, like what Ananda did, is very helpful. Very helpful. If a monk does things like this, serving the preceptor, helping the monastery, do all the monastery work and all that, then later when he practices, the memory of all what he has done will give him a lot of happiness. And the Buddha says the condition for attaining of concentration is a happy mind. Mind got to be happy. But if a person is very selfish, only wants to strive for enlightenment and refuse to do this and refuse to do that, it doesn't have that happiness inside. It's difficult.
The condition for meditation is sila, right view. Is this right view? What sort of view? Is it the worldly right view or
No, Aryan right view. Aryan right view refers to the understanding of the Dhamma, basically the Four Noble Truths. When you understand the Dhamma, the Buddha says, when you attain right view, Aryan right view, you are already an Arya. First path attained.
The Bala and the Sīhat. The Bala is similar to the 5 indriyas.
Yeah, the Bala and the 5 indriya are the same.
And how about the Sīhat?
The what?
It's not just something mentioned the word about something.
Iddhipada. Iddhipada is the basis of psychic power. You practice these, you perfect these Iddhipada, you will get psychic power. And all this is explained in great detail in the Samyutta Nikaya talks. So go and listen to the Samyutta Nikaya talks.
Last question to confirm Samyutta's attainment, enlightenment. Is he achieved that through by reason or by samadhi?
In the suttas, the Buddha says basically that to attain anagamin, third fruition, and arahanthood, fourth fruition, you must have at least the 4 jhanas. Then after you have the 4 jhanas, then you contemplate on the Dhamma, then only you can attain enlightenment. Because in the suttas, the Buddha says there are 5 occasions when a person becomes an arahant. One is when he listens to the Dhamma. Second, when he is teaching the Dhamma. Third, when he is repeating the Dhamma, because during the Buddha's time there were no books, so they had to repeat. When they repeat, they understand. It's just like us reading the suttas. So, when they repeat the Dhamma many times, then they understand more. Then one day it clicks and they become enlightened. The fourth one is when they reflect on the Dhamma that they have heard. They think about it. Contemplate it, and then they understand more, and they become enlightened. And then the fifth one is during meditation. So you see, out of these 5 occasions, a person becomes an arahant. 4 of them have to do with the Dhamma. That's why I always say, knowledge of the Dhamma is extremely important. And then although these 5 occasions are stated in the suttas to be 5 occasions for attaining liberation or arahanthood, it is probable that also for attaining partial liberation, Sotapanna, Sakadagamin and Anagamin, also the same conditions.
Those verses from the Theragatha, the verses spoke by the Arahant monks and nuns on just taking Arahanthood so as to fall the idea of reality that in Arahanthood, or these are verses spoken by Arahants after they fall the Arahanthood.
These verses are spoken by the Arahant monks and nuns at various times, before enlightenment, during enlightenment and after enlightenment. So you see, like some of them, they are reminding themselves to practice hard. Later you see that some of them, like in the verse 127, my hut was made of 3 palm leaves on the bank of the Ganges. My bowl was only a funeral pot. My robe a rag from the dust heap. So you see, they practice, the conditions were not so ideal. They had a lot of suffering. But sometimes in those circumstances, it's also good. Nowadays, we have too much comfort. When you have too much comfort, then you become lazy. When you have suffering, in fact, suffering is a very, very good teacher. Only when we have suffering, then we have the incentive to practice. If there's no suffering, we will not want to practice. That's why devas and devis in heaven, they don't want to practice. Life is too good. They don't see suffering. This monk, he says, his hut was made of 3 palm leaves. Just imagine, you put 3 palm leaves, like a A shape, and you go and hide inside there and you try to meditate. During the daytime, it's extremely hot. And during the night, when the wind blows, you're shivering. And his pot, he had to go to the cemetery there, look for this pot people left behind. Now we have stainless steel bowls. Look at the foot of the so really beautiful looking. Yeah, there were 2 types of bowl during the Buddha's time: clay bowls and iron bowls. The iron bowls can rust one, not like our stainless steel. And sometimes got hole because of the rust. Got hole. And the Buddha says must have 5 holes before you can change your. Then can change. And so these clay bowls, most of them are not potters. How can they make the bowl? They don't make the bowl themselves. So either they get somebody to sponsor a bowl or they have to look for a bowl. In the case of this poor fellow, he went to the cemetery, found an old bowl somebody threw away, they had to use it. Yeah. Okay, shall we end here?